WikiLin85 here, and I'm going to be talking about Kentucky, blood, coal, and limestone. Before it was a state, Kentucky was called the Dark and Bloody Ground. Why? Because multiple native nations, including the Shawnee and Cherokee, hunted here. It was contested territory, not permanent settlement land. When settlers came through the Wilderness Road in 1770s, conflict was immediate and brutal. Forts were raided, there were ambushes, and retaliation killings. This wasn't peaceful expansion. It was takeover. Kentucky separated from Virginia and became the 15th state. It entered the Union as a slave state, and by 1860, over 225,000 enslaved people lived in Kentucky. Kentucky did not secede during the Civil War, but it allowed slavery to continue until the 13th Amendment forced its end. It was the last state to ratify that amendment in 1976. Yes, 1976. Kentucky tried to declare neutrality in 1861. It lasted weeks. Both Union and Confederate armies marched across its soil. Over 40 Civil War battles and skirmishes happened here. Families were split. Some counties sent more men to the Confederacy than the Union. The state never fully healed from that division. Coal built and broke the East. Eastern Kentucky coal powered American industry, steel mills, railroads, and war machines. Mining towns exploded in population in the early 1900s. But coal work was deadly, with black lung disease, with cave-ins, and company towns where workers were paid in scrip instead of real money. In the 1930s, the Harlan County Coal Wars turned violent. Gunfights between miners and private guards. Union organizers were beaten. Federal troops were called in. It wasn't folklore. It was labor war. The bourbon truth. Yes, 95% of the world's bourbon is made in Kentucky. But prohibition nearly destroyed Kentucky's distilleries. Most shut down, and only a handful were licensed to make medicinal whiskey. So bootlegging flourished, and corruption followed, with organized crimes touched part of the state during that era. The bourbon boom you see today, it's a comeback story, not a continuous tradition. The Kentucky Derby wasn't always glamorous. It began in 1875, and early winning jockeys were mostly black. Formerly enslaved men dominated early racing. By the 1900s, racial discrimination pushed them out of the sport almost entirely. History often edits that part. Basketball obsession has an edge. Kentucky Wildcats men's basketball is legendary. But in small towns, high school basketball pressure is intense. Entire communities revolve around it. And for some kids, it's an escape. And for others, it's expectation. In 1951, a point-shaving scandal involving Kentucky players rocked college basketball nationally. Even sacred things have cracks. Urban versus rural divide. Louisville and Lexington lean more towards urban and more progressive, while rural Eastern and western Kentucky remain economically challenged. The poverty rates in Appalachian counties remain among the highest in the U.S., with opioid addiction hitting eastern Kentucky hard in the 2000s, and prescription mills flooded the small towns and overdose rates spiked. It became a national crisis and still ongoing. Geography is power. With the Mammoth Cave National Park isn't just a tourist site. It was mined for saltpeter during the War of 1812 to make gunpowder. The enslaved laborers worked inside the caves. There's history underground, literally. The Ohio River formed both a barrier and a pathway. For enslaved people escaping north, crossing that river meant hope. And for bounty hunters, it meant pursuit. State symbols, but what they hide. The state motto is United we stand, divided we fall. And Kentucky has lived both halves of that sentence. The state flower is the goldenrod, and the state bird is the northern cardinal, and the state tree is the tulip poplar. All beautiful symbols, but the real symbol might be limestone. It filters water, it hardens it, strengthens it, just like the people. Kentucky is not just horses and bourbon. It's labor strikes. It's divided loyalties. It's slavery and slow reckoning. It's music born from hardship. It's beauty that does not erase struggle. It's a place that empowered America and paid for it. This is not postcard Kentucky. This is real Kentucky. Check back for more, and as always, like and subscribe. Thank you.